Gino Smith for the win, knocked away. And the Jags defense, Devon Hamilton, swats it away.
Hate this fucking shit.
What is good, Raider Nation? It's your boy Raider Alex back with yet another video for you guys. Anybody that is new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. But with that being said, let's jump right into the topic of this video. God damn, man, absolute heartbreaker for the Raiders once again at home at Allegiant Stadium, very similar to how we lost against the Chicago Bears. A heartbreaker. The Raiders, theoretically should have won the game, but it's not about shoulda, coulda, woulda. It's about actually doing it, going out and executing, and the Raiders just weren't able to do that. Now, the Raiders, I will say, coming off of the bye week, I do like, the intensity. Overall, it seems like they were prepared for this matchup. It was definitely a hard-fought battle, but like I said, no moral victories in the NFL. There are still some serious issues with this team that are quite literally costing us victories, and that's why we are sitting at 2-6 at this point. 100% certain, no way to come back from this. The season is absolutely washed. At 2-6, there's no chance you can even get into the wild card, especially the way the division is looking right now. The Denver Broncos are 7-2. The LA Chargers got a victory. But some of my main takeaways from this matchup is the fact that, for one, I think our special team still has huge issues. Now, it is kind of interesting, though, because we did have a really good performance from Raheem Mostert in the return game. Several times he got us, near midfield in great field position, but we are still having issues in the kicking department. Daniel Carlson, I'm looking at this point, I think the Raiders next offseason, we have to look for a new kicker. Daniel Carlson, it's been like years now where it just kind of feels like he hasn't been consistent. To me, he's a long ways away from like that 2021, 2022 Daniel Carlson. To me, he's far away from the guy that, to me, he used to be a guy that, anything within 55 yards, he was almost automatic. But now he's missing PATs. We're getting penalties off the kickoffs. And like I said, I just have zero confidence in him. Also against the Chicago Bears, like I mentioned earlier, that other heartbreaking loss at the last second, another issue in the kicking department. It got blocked. Now, I don't know, you can't really put that all on Daniel Carlson, but special teams department is still a huge issue for the Raiders. And in this one, it costed us another victory. So definitely super disappointing. Now, at the very least, this game was super exciting, went to overtime, and the offense finally had some life. And, I think a big part of that was tight end Brock Bowers was finally back on the football field. And, man, he had himself a hell of a performance. 12 receptions, 127 yards, 3 touchdowns on the night. So he was absolutely cooking. He was locked in, and I just kind of forgot about how important and how good of a player, how dynamic of an athlete Brock Bowers is for this offense. You just saw a whole different element with him on the field, especially in the passing game. Gino Smith threw for nearly 300 yards, 4 passing touchdowns with 1 interception, and man, just Gino Smith, he just can't help himself at this point. Anytime the game is close, he just can't protect the football. He gets a dumb interception coming out of the half. That, to me, really kind of to shift the momentum towards Jacksonville Jaguars. We finally utilized Ashton Jeanty in the passing game. You can finally see how electric of a pass catcher he can be in the screen game. And, just catching out the backfield in general. Finally, Chip Kelly, something clicked in his brain to, use him in that manner. So I love what we saw from Jeanty in that aspect. Now, in terms of the running game, though, still having issues. Can't run the ball consistently. Jeanty only had about 45 yards on the ground. And also, too, in the red zone, we were having issues just punching it into the end zone. We tried it a couple different times, got stuffed. So I think that's why on that 2-point conversion, we went for it through the air, which, look, let's talk about that too. For me, I am totally fine with going with the 2-point conversion. At that point, go for the victory. You're 2-5. What the hell is a draw going to do for you at this stage of the season? You might as well risk it. Go for the victory. And honestly, the Raiders, like I said, they should have won, but just can't execute. Tyler Lockett was open in the back of the end zone. And it gets batted at the line of scrimmage. I mean, you could say bad luck, but at the same time, I don't know why Gino Smith is pump faking. You can argue that that slight second he pump fakes allowed the defensive lineman to be able to get his hand up and knock the ball down to seal the victory for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Just super disappointing overall, at least the ending of it. Now look, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, if the Raiders would have won this game, I still don't think it changes a whole lot for them. I don't think, personally, if we would have won this game, I would have not been, coming on here and be like, oh guys, we're back. We're back in the mix of things. We have a legit shot to make the playoffs. Like I said, to me, it really doesn't change a whole lot, but at least, I saw a different spirit, a different attitude from this Raiders team. Now, I will say, like I said, offense, I did like what I saw for the most part, moving the ball through the air. The defense, though, I was a little bit shocked that, we were just so bad against the run. The Raiders this season thus far have been pretty good stopping the run, but today, I mean, they were just really wearing us down. Jacksonville had over like 150 rushing yards, so, I think that definitely took a toll on this defense. I thought the defense could have played a little bit better for sure. We were giving up too many yards, too many plays. And honestly, too, if you look at it, we got kind of lucky. We got kind of bailed out from Trevor Lawrence to start the game. They had like a 10-minute drive where they got into the 3-yard line or something like that. And Trevor Lawrence made a boneheaded play. Nobody was open. He just threw it to Isaiah Polamalu. Now, luckily, the Raiders capitalized on that. But like I said, I think he kind of bailed us out right there. So that just kind of shows you that the defense, to me, should have been a lot better. I was expecting more for the defense in this matchup. But, man, just absolutely brutal. It is what it is, man. I'd rather lose in these type of fashions, in actual competitive games than, compared to how we lost to in Kansas City, getting absolutely blown out, no effort. Those type of performances really piss me off. But the Raiders, at the very least, I mean, they competed in this one. Gino Smith looked better, but he still had a very dumb interception, which in the NFL, it's a game of inches. A mistake here, like an interception like that, a missed PAT. Stuff like that can really bite you in the ass, and it did for the Raiders in this one. But it is going to be interesting to see what the Raiders end up doing now. Like I said, 2-6. In a previous video, we talked about how the trade deadline is coming up, and this matchup, I mean, if they would have lost, it definitely entices them a lot more to become major sellers ahead of Tuesday's trade deadline. You never know. It seems like Jacoby Myers could be walking out the door via trade. I guess Jackson Powers-Johnson is also considered an option to be moved as well. And this morning, too, Ian Rappaport also reported that defensive end Malcolm Koonce may also be on the trade block. Now, it will be interesting to see. I mean, I don't really know, if he would have much of a trade value at this point, just due to the fact that he's coming off that ACL injury. Hasn't really done much. Hasn't really played great this season. And ultimately, he's still on a 1-year deal. So whatever team is going to trade for him, I just feel like they're not going to give a whole lot for a potential 3-month rental defensive end player. And even if he plays good, they're going to have to re-sign him to a contract this offseason. So, I mean, we'll just have to see. Maybe there's a team that's kind of desperate at the edge position, a team that's thin at that spot, that maybe could give us like a 5th round pick for Malcolm Koonce. I don't really know at this point, but the one thing I do know, at 2-6, I think the Raiders should definitely consider moving some veteran pieces, kind of start gearing up for next year, building for the future, because like I said, at 2-6, there's no coming back from this. And also, too, one thing I really want to see is I want to see more young players get out there, especially in a season where, like I said, you're not really fighting for the playoffs. Let's get some valuable reps, some valuable playing time to these young guys. One player that just was inactive today, didn't even suit up, Dante Thornton Jr., which to me, I definitely don't agree with that. Not saying he's got to start or anything like that, but, at the bare minimum, he's got to get some reps. He's got to get some opportunities. Same thing with Jack Best. I didn't really see him out there today. And also, to our defensive tackle, J.J. Pegues, and Tonka Hemingway, another healthy scratch yet again. So like I said, I want to get these guys on the active game day roster. Let's get them some valuable reps, some valuable playing time to see what we have in them and kind of start gearing up for the future. So the Raiders lose 30-21, tough pill to swallow. And we got a short week coming up. Thursday night football on the road against Denver. But Raider Nation, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below of this matchup. Who do you think is to blame for this loss right here? Let me know down below. But with that being said, Raider Nation, that is all for you guys in today's video. Anybody that is new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That being said, I will see you guys in the next one.